room is warm. You're close enough to smell skin, soap, the blanket, the faint trace of outside still clinging to your fur. A hand comes down between your shoulders. The voice above you is soft, affectionate, pleased. You hold still, then the hand slides over your neck. A face leans in. The pressure lasts a second too long. You turn your head a few inches away. Not a dramatic turn, barely anything. A whisper of a signal. The hand follows. You lick your lips once. No one notices. Your weight shifts forward. Still nothing. So you choose the option that keeps everything peaceful. You stand up, hop off the couch, and walk across the room. Behind you, the human laughs and says, "Okay then, be like that." But the walk away was not the first message. It was the last polite one. If you live with a dog, you've probably seen some version of this. You call them over, they come close, you start petting, cuddling, grooming, wiping paws, clipping the leash, adjusting the harness, taking a photo, letting a child hug them, or simply leaning over them with love in your body. And then, suddenly, they leave. They get off the bed, they step out of your reach, they move to the other side of the room, they shake off and walk away. And because the leaving is the part we can clearly see, we build the story around that moment. We say the dog is aloof, moody, stubborn, weird about affection, dramatic, disobedient, not cuddly, or maybe we go the other direction and feel hurt. Did I do something wrong? Does my dog not like me? Those interpretations make sense because the obvious thing is the movement. The problem is, the movement is usually the ending, not the beginning. For many dogs, the real message starts a few seconds earlier, in something so small, most humans miss it completely. A slight head turn away from the interaction. That tiny turn matters more than it looks. Turid Rugeas popularized the phrase calming signals for behaviors like looking away, turning the head, licking the lips, sniffing, blinking, moving slowly, or curving the body. You don't have to love every label to see the bigger truth. Dogs often communicate discomfort, uncertainty, or a need for less intensity with very small gestures long before they do anything dramatic. And one of the clearest of those gestures is orientation, where the head goes, where the eyes go, where the body starts to lean. Patricia McConnell has spent years explaining something dog people eventually learn in their bones. Body position is not trivial in dog language. A direct lean-in, a hand over the head, a face moving close, a body blocking space, a stare held too long, these things have weight. Even when they come from love, dogs don't always experience them as simple affection. Sometimes they feel like pressure, so a dog turns the head away. That turn can mean, this is a little much. It can mean, trying to stay calm. It can mean, I don't want conflict. It can mean, please make this gentler. And sometimes it simply means, I need a small pocket of space before I can stay present. This is why the signal is so easy to miss. It is almost anti-dramatic. It doesn't look like protest. It doesn't look like refusal. It doesn't look like the kind of communication humans are trained to notice. Humans are good at seeing action. Dogs are often speaking in reduction. Less eye contact, less stillness under pressure, less orientation toward what's happening. A soft withdrawal before a physical one. And because many dogs are so socially flexible with us, they often make these first signals incredibly subtle. They are not trying to start a fight. They are trying not to. That is the first big reframe. When a dog moves away, especially after giving smaller signals first, that behavior is often not rudeness. It is diplomacy. It is a peaceful solution. In animal behavior, creating distance is one of the oldest ways to reduce tension. Ethology has shown for a long time that social animals survive not by constantly confronting each other, but by avoiding unnecessary conflict. Dogs are masters of this. They curve instead of colliding. They glance away instead of staring. They leave instead of escalating. So when your dog gets up and walks away from a moment that became too intense, that may be one of the healthiest things they could do. They are regulating the situation. That matters, because a lot of people imagine stress only as something huge and obvious, trembling, hiding, panic. But stress in a dog often begins much quieter than that. Karen Overall and other veterinary behaviorists have long described stress as a change in arousal that shifts behavior. In plain English, the dog system starts saying, this is getting harder to process, and when that happens, space helps. Space lowers pressure. Distance gives the nervous system room. Movement restores choice. Sometimes, Walking away is the dog's version of taking a breath. That doesn't mean every dog who moves away is afraid. This is where people can get confused. Not all distancing is fear in the dramatic sense. A dog may move away because they are uncertain, overstimulated, frustrated, tired, conflicted, trapped by too much handling, or simply done. A puppy can do this when they're flooded with excitement and touch. A rescue dog can do this because human closeness carries more complexity in their learning history. An older dog can do it because the body doesn't feel the way it used to. A highly social dog can do it because even social dogs have thresholds. The dog does not have to be terrified for the signal to be meaningful. They only have to be saying, "Not like this," or "Not right now." And this is where the story gets deeper, because that tiny head turn is not only about the moment itself, it is also about everything the dog has learned about being heard. Think about two dogs in the same situation. One turns the head, the hand pauses, the pressure lifts, the human softens. Maybe the dog stays, maybe the dog leaves, but the message lands. That dog learned something powerful. Subtle communication works. Now, imagine a second dog. They turn the head. The human follows. They lean away. The human reaches more. They get up. The human pulls them back. They freeze, get praised for tolerating it, and the interaction continues. That dog learned something too. They learn that soft signals don't change anything. And when soft signals stop working, dogs don't become complicated. They become clearer. Sometimes that means faster exit. Sometimes it means avoidance much earlier in the interaction. Sometimes it means a hard stare, a growl, a snap that people call sudden, even though it wasn't sudden at all. The earlier conversation was simply too quiet for human ears. This is one reason behavior professionals pay so much attention to subtle body language. The dog who gave no warning often gave several. They just looked like tiny things. A head turn, a lip lick, a closed mouth, ears shifting back, weight leaving the interaction before the pause did. And learning history changes how those signals show up. A dog who has repeatedly been physically restrained may skip quickly to leaving as soon as a hand approaches. A rescue dog who came from an unpredictable environment may be exquisitely sensitive to looming, grabbing, hugging, or being cornered, not because they're broken, but because their nervous system has reasons. A puppy, on the other hand, may look wildly affectionate one minute and then dart away the next. Not because they're inconsistent, but because puppies swing fast between approach and overwhelm. They are still learning how much contact they enjoy, how to recover from arousal, how to ask for breaks without falling apart. Even attachment plays a role here. Research teams studying dog-human bonds, including groups led by people like Joseph Topal, have shown that dogs form real attachment relationships with humans. But secure attachment is not the same as constant contact. In healthy attachment, there is room to approach and room to withdraw. Safety is not being trapped in closeness. Safety is knowing closeness can breathe. That is another reframe people don't expect. A dog walking away from you is not always disconnecting from you. Sometimes they are trusting the relationship enough to be honest inside it. A dog who feels safe may say no more clearly, not less. That can be hard for humans because our species often equates love with endurance. Stay here, hold still. Let me love you. Let me kiss you. Let me finish. Let me show everyone how sweet you are. But dogs often value something slightly different. Predictability, choice, relief from pressure, the ability to leave without punishment. So, the moment before your dog moves, away becomes emotionally important. It is not just a body language detail. It is a test of whether the relationship has room for the dog's experience, not only ours. If you start noticing that tiny head turn, everything changes. You stop asking, "Why is my dog being difficult?" And you start asking, "What got a little too intense here? Was it the duration, the body position, the hand over the head, the face too close, the child crowding, the leash appearing, the towel, the excitement in the room? The fact that your dog was already carrying stress from something 5 minutes earlier? That last part matters more than people think. Dogs do not experience moments in isolation. A loud delivery at the door, a tense walk, a new visitor, a missed nap, another dog outside, a busy household. All of that can lower the amount of social pressure your dog can comfortably handle. So, the cuddle they usually enjoy may suddenly become something they leave. Not because the cuddle changed, because the dog's capacity changed. This is why. But he normally likes this can be true and still not explain. Today, now here's the most powerful reframe of all. Walking away is often not a relationship problem. It is a relationship-preserving behavior. Your dog is choosing distance instead of conflict, movement instead of escalation, communication instead of shutdown. In that sense, the dog who walks away is often being incredibly skillful. The real danger begins when that option disappears, when the child keeps hugging, when the person follows the dog from room to room, when the leash tightens, when the dog is cornered on furniture, when come here means you're not allowed to be done, when a polite exit is blocked. Because if a dog cannot reduce pressure by moving away, they may have to try something stronger, freeze, struggle, growl, snap. Not because they wanted a fight, but because the peaceful exit was taken off the table. So yes, there is a warning hidden in this topic, but it's not meant to scare you. It's meant to sharpen your eye. Pay closer attention when the pattern changes. If your dog has always enjoyed petting and now consistently moves away from touch, especially from a specific area of the body that deserves respect and curiosity. If the head turn becomes very fast, the body gets stiffer, the mouth closes hard, the dog shows more tension around hands, children, or handling, pay attention. If your dog walks away and then returns relaxed, nudges you, leans back in, or stays loose and wiggly, that often looks like healthy regulation. They took a break. But if your dog is leaving earlier and earlier, avoiding whole situations, hiding, freezing, or showing a broader pattern of discomfort, the behavior is telling you something bigger. Not necessarily something catastrophic, but something worth listening to. And sometimes the deeper message is emotional, sometimes it is learned, sometimes it is situational, and yes, sometimes bodies matter too. A dog who suddenly avoids touch may not only be making a social point, they may be uncomfortable. The important thing is not to flatten the meaning, not stubborn, not random, not dramatic, not he's just like that, meaningful. That's the word. Because once you see that small signal for what it is, ordinary life with a dog starts to look different. The head turn before the child leans in, the lip lick before the selfie, the weight shift before the harness goes on, the little exit from the couch before the room gets too loud. These are not trivial moments. They are the hidden architecture of trust. When you notice them and respond with space instead of pressure, something beautiful happens. The dog does not have to shout. The relationship gets quieter, softer, more honest. And often, ironically, dogs become more affectionate when affection stops being something they have to endure. A dog who can leave is often a dog who can come back. That may be one of the deepest lessons here. Love with a dog is not measured by how long you can keep them in place. It's measured by how safe they feel communicating their limit. So the next time your dog gets up and walks away, don't start with offense. Don't start with embarrassment. Don't jump straight to disobedience. Rewind the tape by 3 seconds. Did the head turn happen first? Because if it did, your dog wasn't rejecting you. They were speaking softly. They were asking for less. They were trying to keep the moment peaceful. And if you learn to hear that whisper, you may understand your dog on an entirely different level. If you've noticed this tiny signal in your own dog, tell me when you see it most. During petting, grooming, cuddles, kids, guests, leash time, any of it. I'd love to hear the patterns you've started noticing. And if you want more of these deeper hidden conversations in everyday dog behavior, subscribe. That's what this channel is here for.